Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of TGBG On Comms Podcast. I'm your host for tonight. It's Chef. I'm a proud member of TGBG. I'm on the stream team. You're going to be seeing us here very soon with Cold War coming out. Can't wait for it to come out, get our hands on it. Tonight we got a special guest. We got Rxsistance. He's also on TGBG. Rxsistance, if you want to introduce yourself to the people.
How's it going? My name is Michael. I go by Rxsistance. I've been playing COD for a couple years now, and I am happy to be here.
Nice. All right, here. Make sure I got all my bells and whistles correct before we get started on tonight's podcast. I feel like tonight's going to be a little bit of a hot topic. Okay, we're going to be talking about BRs, Battle Royales. Okay, we got Warzone, Cold War is going to be integrating. We're just going to talk about a lot of things. Okay, chat by all means. If you have any questions, feel free to chat, say something in chat. I'll be looking at chat. We'll respond back to you. We're just going to have like an open discussion on this matter because I feel like Warzone is not going anywhere anytime soon. I don't know how you feel, Rxsistance, but I feel like it's a very popular mode.
Yeah, I don't see it going anywhere. I think Activision and Treyarch realize how much money can be made just in small microtransactions with weaponry. So with Warzone being so popular among the more casual players, especially more now since it's a competitive game mode, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think that the main base of Call of Duty will start to decrease, like the search and destroy lobbies, TDM. I think all those are going to start to fade away going into next year because this game looks very dominant as far as like VRs go.
I feel the same way. I almost would say I feel that now in Modern Warfare.
No, definitely agreed. I think a lot of my friends that I can talk about pretty much just like I don't even have the game, I just have Warzone. So I think that's kind of a lot of people that I know since it's free. I mean, why not have it? It's a Call of Duty that's free. Like that appeals to everybody. Even if you're like not the best player in the world, it's still free, you know?
Yeah.
You can enjoy every aspect of the game just like you can the regular game. So
and that's hard to beat. You can't beat free. So
definitely not.
Before we even get into that, even before we get into that, if we look at the BRs, Fortnite was free, Apex was free. Just found out yesterday that the Call of Duty Mobile is free. There's a BR in that. There's some.
Yeah.
So BR was Blackout free as well? Did you have to have the game for Blackout?
You had to have the game for Blackout.
Okay, so that one wasn't free, but the whole part is BRs are not going anywhere. So, all right, let's not get sidetracked, okay? Because we're just getting to the meat of it. I feel like. All right, Warzone will be integrating into Cold War, which will still be called Warzone if I'm not mistaken. The beginning of December.
Yes.
Okay, so you'll still get to play Warzone in Modern Warfare, but in December, I imagine, boom, we got that. Bullet, thank you for the 37-month hype. You got it going on. We're going to be integrating. Now, with the integration, that just opens up a whole bag of potato chips. Okay. Me personally, I'm going to talk for myself real quick because I know Restrain, your categories, your achievements and stuff on Call of Duty is a lot different from mine. I'm more of a pub player. I play pubs. I did dabble a lot in game battles and UMG matches on last time Call of Duty Ghost. So it's been quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
And so I mainly play pubs. I played Clan Wars. I did that. So my vision and my view is going to be different from yours because it's mistaken. Let the people in the chat know kind of what your background is in Call of Duty a little bit before we get started in this.
Okay, so pretty much I started competing in Black Ops 1, so it's been a greater portion of 10 years now.
Yeah.
Competed on nefarious games. I played every game you could think of besides anything as far as like IW goes. I didn't play any of those games, any of the jetpack games besides AW. So I've been to pretty much every LAN. I've traveled across the seas to play Modern Warfare 3. I mean, you name it, we played everywhere, anywhere. Um, a lot of the big names now I've competed against at local LANs before big LANs are really even paying anything out. So been playing COD for a greater portion of 10 years, competing for a greater portion of 10 years. Obviously with some kind of breaks in between. But I've played everything, even outside of COD. I've played all the BRs, Apex, PUBG, Fortnite for a little bit, Warzone. So kind of been playing for a while, kind of watching for a while. My friends are in the Call of Duty League. Um, Names like Aqua, Pristini, all those guys, Parasite, all people that I grew up next to, Attach, you name it. So I kind of got to see and hear all sides of the spectrum of BRs and where Call of Duty is kind of going next.
And see, that's where me and you are totally different, right? I will say this though, little fun fact: Parasite was in Pwn just to get the free stuff. I will say that for
No,
Advanced Warfare.
I don't doubt that at all.
he was in there at times like talking in the Slack chat. I'd be like, Parasite, I'm like, dude, that's the cat that just won the Black Ops 2 like world champ. So yeah, so definitely you're gonna be seeing different opinions on the BR because of him having that
Right.
competitive, the pro background compared to me as a casual pub player who sometimes like to go extremely hard, and I'm not gonna throw myself in the pub stopping side, which sometimes I do. It's different. It's
Right. It is. No, it is.
it is totally different. All right, so we're gonna merge over now to the BR side with these two games combining together. My first. Oh, Mr. Fantastic with a subscription. Thank you so much, sir. The one thing I have a concern for is the guns. If we're
Right.
going to be able to use Modern Warfare weapons and Cold War weapons, I'm torn on how's that going to work.
Yeah, the balancing aspect is probably the most interesting one for me. I mean, as far as Modern Warfare weapons go, they just hit hard. All of them. They all hit hard. And Cold War weapons don't really hit that hard. So I'm kind of interested to see if they fine-tune a lot of it. I think we're not going to see the same M4 that we're already seeing. Since there's two M4s, it's kind of, for me, kind of like the Black Ops 1. Like, with Cold War, we're going to see more of, like, the commando and play somewhat. But I think Modern Warfare has kind of set an aspect of gun design that Cold War is on the opposite spectrum of.
Yep.
So I don't really understand how they're going to integrate that to a point where you can kind of just swap between. I feel like it's going to have to be very, very balanced to even enjoy that. If not, then Cold War weaponry are not going to be used at all. I don't think it's going to be used anywhere near Modern Warfare weapons because everyone's kind of used to it so far. And I don't know. For me, like I said, the biggest thing is balancing how they're going to balance this to fit the Cold War, like, I guess, scenery and gun design, how they're going to match these two things. Because they're, like I said, totally two different spectrums. I think one's more arcadey, one seems a little bit more realistic. It's kind of hard to say and see that far into the game integration because we're not there yet. But I think that Modern Warfare weaponry is not going to change. I think everyone's going to keep using the LMGs, keep using the M4s. Everyone's kind of already used to using the Grau and you name it, right? It's kind of hard to take off the Kilo, and
True.
it's tough. I don't think anyone's really going to want to use the new Galil. It's not as strong as a Kilo.
Exactly. And so you got your side, right? So if you look at me, I didn't play much Warzone. I like to play Plunder. Okay, it is what it is. Don't judge me, chat. Okay, I like Plunder, the respawn aspect of it. I think it's fun. I feel like I'm gonna talk about the MP5. Because in front of put a thing in there, the health for Cold War is gonna be 150. So that's another subject we gotta talk about. Comparing MP5s, if we don't have a balance in it, I'm gonna bust you with the Modern Warfare MP5 before the Cold War one. It hits so much harder.
And it's really easy to use. It's definitely way more accurate.
Map you, and then if you look at that part of it, okay, look at all the attachments we had for Modern Warfare. You can about make a gun or weapon class set up to where that gun doesn't move. There's no bounce. There's no recoil. There's nothing. If we look at Cold War, to me, I felt like Cold War, the guns felt like Black Ops 1. And if you ever played Black Ops 1, the guns had a lot of movement to it when you shot it. You had to be very accurate.
Yeah, it was hard.
So you give me the MP5 from Cold War, MP5 Modern Warfare. Me personally, I feel like I'm going to choose Modern Warfare weapons over that. If we get to the assault rifles, there's no comparison. Modern Warfare is going to dominate. So between that and the gun difference, there's going to be some major stuff. Some major stuff's going to have to change for that. Because man, oh man, I feel that's going to be a big problem. I'm going to tell you, the flaming shotgun, bro. I mean, think about that. There is no weapon in Cold War that can compete with that. Right? There's nothing right now. If we had the game tonight, you're done. You can forget about it. Nobody will use a Cold War setup right now.
You're right. Yeah,
I don't think so. Inferno in chat said the health for Cold War is 150. Modern Warfare, we have a Warzone. No, we really don't know. You just got that bar and you can put shield on, right? Yeah. So is that going to be a factor? Are we going to how's that going to work? Because I know you know how many bullets to put in somebody, right?
Yeah.
Right, and in Blackout BO4, there was a big adjustment to know when to stop firing or shooting the player you're playing against. That's a big one. How is that going to work? That's. Go ahead.
Let me cut you off.
You're good.
I think we kind of got a taste of that in Cold War with the beta, right? I mean, we got that semi-Battle Royale-ish game mode. It was like a nuke game mode where you had a plant and you had to get like some kind of material to make a nuke, pretty much.
True,
and that was it was like a Battle Royale in its own aspect. I think that the character design and the map design plays exactly like Warzone, except the health difference is very noticeable. If you're starting to get beamed, you're dead. There is no getting
true. I 100% with you on that one.
So that one's kind of interesting. I think with the less health, and I guess that's my biggest thing is you're not gonna have as much health. Once you start getting hit in that movement, you cannot just run away. You're stuck there. So you're kind of unfortunately gonna just die. I mean, that's the hardest thing, right? So in Warzone, you can G-slide out of there and hit dead silence and be gone.
Yeah, boot gang, get out.
And in this, you can't. If you're getting shot at, there is no escaping unless the person just loses their thumbs mid-gunfight. I don't know, but the hardest point is you don't have much health, and if the guns are going to stay from Modern Warfare, you are going to get beamed. It's going to have to be a giant balance thing. I think right now the way it goes is you actually do put plates in faster, I've noticed, compared to Warzone. But the hard part is just trying to get good cover. You can't mantle things that I saw.
No,
you can't mantle, but you can't mount them is what I'm trying to say. I didn't notice it. I mean, maybe you could. I didn't see it, but that was my biggest thing was you're gonna get beamed. It's gonna be hard to run away. It's gonna be hard to kind of get that same movement. I think it's gonna have to be the map design's gonna have to play huge parts in that. And that's kind of what I'm really interested in to see if you're gonna be able to carry more plates. If the plates are faster, if the plates break a little bit shorter, like how much health you actually have increased. Because right now in Warzone, if you have all 3 plates, it's like 250 health.
Yeah.
So
it's quite a bit.
It's a lot. So it's kind of interesting to see what they're gonna do with the plate system, especially with now because we have the satchel that gives you 8 plates off the rip. It's so many things that have to just come back and see if it works out.
I know the game mode you're talking about. I did play that a little bit, and I had a hard time. Of course, when everybody's on that same bomb trying to break it off, you can see a lot of people, but the map itself was hard to see people if you're at a place by yourself and you get run up on and you were dead.
Oh, for sure.
And I did notice I had a hard time knowing how many plates I did have because Warzone is boom. It's right there. You can visually see it, and I felt like it took longer to put the plate in on Cold War than it was because Warzone I can move around, duck around cover and put a plate in. This one I had no time, and so then you would look at as in chat the movement between Warzone and Cold War. If I choose a Cold War character and I have that same mechanics, I feel like, boy, I can get up on you quick without having dead silence on. Because you move so... To me, I don't know about you, I moved, but I was getting it. And if you could do that, if you could do that cancel slide, which means you slide forever, you can pop up. You can, but on satellite, I can get it. I can get the B Dom quick.
I can feel that.
So in Warzone, was it what you got? The G slides, what it's called? Or
Yeah.
the slide cancel.
Right.
It's fast, but I feel like Cold War was a lot faster.
I think the thing is the hitbox. I think it really changes because with Cold War, I was getting hit without even getting hit. I think the hitboxes got a little bit bigger, for sure. I think they addressed that because Treyarch games are notorious for using small character models and having a hard time trying to hit it, especially with Black Ops 4. I had the hardest time with Black Ops 4.
I had a hard time with Blackout for hitting people. Pubs, I did.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's definitely the hitbox being different. Modern Warfare is definitely a little bit smaller, but the animations are a lot more clunkier. So it's kind of a toss up. But that's the thing about what Warzone is. They devoted so much time to it that they know what their animations are going to be. They know how long it's going to take. They tweak these things to make it fit. And with Cold War, everything seems so much more smaller, not as clunky, but it definitely is a bigger hitbox. And that's the hardest thing is you're seeing one thing, but on someone else's screen, it's entirely different. And that's kind of the toughest thing about Cold War is sometimes you don't see that person, but they see you like it's nothing. So it's kind of interesting.
That's the next thing. The connection between the two. How is it going to feel if you're still playing the version from? Either way, it's going to be integrated. But how's it going to feel playing it? Them two combining, even though it's the same engine. I know when I'm playing the Infinity Ward game, and I know when I'm playing a Treyarch game. I know there's a connection difference. How is? I mean, it's up there, buddy.
Yeah, that's kind of. I think it's kind of just a shot in the dark, really. Honestly,
shoot from the hip.
I can't imagine. First off, the download for that it's probably gonna be over 100 gigs. But I'm gonna guess they're gonna make you delete whatever version of the game you did have and re-download it. I want to say that's probably going to be the only way they can do it to make it actually integrate seamlessly. So be ready to probably re-download the entire game.
Oh man!
But the second thing is for sure my biggest question going into this is how is it going to play? I guess for different console users, right? I mean, if we still have people on the original PS4s and not on the Pros, how does that differentiate someone on a Pro or Xbox One X, or how does that work for them going into this integration? How much more are they gonna have to download? How much more are they gonna have to buy or delete or make work? And that's gonna be the toughest thing for people going into this.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I have my Xbox One I got during Advanced Warfare, and I have a PS4 Pro. I can tell you personally, it looks a lot different. Warzone does on my Xbox than it does the PS4. Visually, it's a lot clearer. So let's say I keep my same Xbox and I'm still playing Cold War. Like how big? Because I'm sure it's going to be a lot different. It's going to be extremely looks different. Then we got what? That's 3 types of consoles. I mean, like not 3 types of consoles, but like 3 versions of the game right there. You got
we're not talking about next gen either.
That's just for this. Now you factor in when they become available for the public to get on and play, which a lot of people will probably get it. How is that, dude? I'm concerned, to be honest with you. I have some worries. Is it going to be playable? Is it going to be enjoyable to play? Because there's going to be a hype on it. You know that.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, the hype's going to be ungodly real.
For sure.
Oh man, that's just opened up so many cans right there. And it's like nothing's been put out about that yet. And it's like, man, the game comes out like, even though it's just a game, right? But still, like these sims are going to be here before you know it. And after the game in 2 weeks, it's like, are they going to be ready? Because I imagine it's going to be what. All right, so still staying on the BRs and the gun part, the loadouts and this, the ground loot. Are we going to have a healthy mixture of it? Because you tell me right now, like we talked about, if I can pick up a striker and you pick up the, wow, Lord, what was the other one? The Milano? I feel like I'm going to have the edge on you.
Yeah.
To me personally, I feel like in the Uzi right now, oh man, it's like, buddy. So the ground loops in the new one, again, that I guess that goes right back to what you said. The balancing is going to have to be on it for that to work. I mean,
that's my biggest fear though. I mean, even with right now, the balancing takes so long. Could you imagine two sets of guns from two different games to be balanced in a timely manner?
How long did the Bruins stay OP?
At least a month.
A month, the Bruins.
At least a month.
Before that, it was the Growl.
Yeah.
Before that, it was the M4 and RPG.
Yeah.
MP7. C4s, MP5s, MP7s, like... Oh, man, like, there's a lot to take in that. I don't... And then, if we look about that, the map. What is this new map going to look like? Is it going to be buildings? Is it going to be open field? Visually, how is it going to look? Because I don't know if you noticed, but traditionally, Treyarch games are very colorful. In that sense, they're very colorful. Got that cartoony look you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, the arcade version.
I noticed in Cold War that it was not as colorful in the alpha or beta. So how is that going to tie in? Even in that game mode when you fly in, it was fairly dark. It was fairly dark. I mean, you know you're in the snow. It was bright, but there was some dark things. There was it was kind of dark. I noticed that right off the get go. I wonder how that's going to play. How's that going to play effect in the game itself? Especially,
I think I got a taste of that for sure. If you look at Miami, if you go into a certain corner, you can't see that person.
No,
it's almost impossible. And Modern Warfare, I feel like if I sit in any corner, someone finds me. It's so hard to hide in that game at all. But that's my biggest thing is I guess the brightness effects or the shadowing effects or whatever it is you want to call it, that has to be able to be translated not only now that we have FOV slider, but we have to be able to make it to where it's instantly and not just a delay in, I guess you would say, brightness effect. And that has to be something that we can't even really talk about for this gen consoles because we're capped. I think this gen's going to have that suffering. If you played the Modern Warfare Halloween thing and you go into a building and you walk out of it, that hurts your eyes, man. That was killing me.
I couldn't see nothing. If somebody was up on you, you're done. Tony, thank you for the 37-month streak. Tony, you are a monster. In front of us saying in chat, the new console hardware fixes the lighting.
I can see that.
But again, what if you can't afford the new consoles, right? That's going to be are people going to play it? Mm-hmm. Right? That's the big thing, that they want people to play it, to get the transactions, they get all that. Real quickly, we're doing a giveaway right now. I believe it's #BR for a chance to win, was it a $10 PayPal or $10? Oh Lord, I missed it. Or $10 PayPal or a PlayStation code for $10. #BR. All right, let me make sure I say that. Cool deal. All right. Visually is what we're on right now. Okay. On that map, where you got to plant the bombs to get the oh Lord, what is that? The nuclear stuff. Remember that one spot where there was the bomb, that little cabin, and the bomb was underneath it? Some person was like, you couldn't see nobody in that door. So if the door was open, you couldn't see him. And I couldn't see him at all. I was like, there's somebody in there. There's somebody's in that little room up there. It was dark. I'm hoping what in front of us said that the lighting does fix it, because that's to be, if your PC, I imagine you can do a lot more in your PC and just the settings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're rocking those consoles. You're just gonna, I guess, have to just,
I guess just suffer.
Suffer until you get the new one. Best of luck, buddy. I'm gonna rock your world.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
Pretty much. That was kind of the issue with, I guess, the Pro version compared to the original PS4, right? Everyone was like, "Oh my God, the difference is literally life changing."
Dude, hands down, I'm gonna tell you right now. Again, I had the old Xbox. If this PS4 Pro visually, I see so much, and it looks so cleaner. It's crisp. It's a better software. and hardware, pretty much.
For sure.
I mean, and that's a lot they better start thinking about. I'm sure they have been thinking about it, but it's like, man, you're leaving us in the dark right now. Like, some people, we got some grinders in here.
Yeah. Yep.
And again, like Fernando said, these games are created for the new gen.
Right.
Bro, I don't know if any of y'all remember this. Advanced Warfare on the Xbox 360 looked like garbage.
Yeah,
it looked like garbage. So again, that game was made for the new Xbox and the new PlayStation. So I'm wondering how it's going to look, because dude, that was me, right? I didn't go out and spend the $400 on the new Xbox because I was like, bro, that's a lot of money to drop at one time.
Yeah.
I suffered through that till I got one, bro. It's sketchy, bro. You're like, I can see that person in the window, and the visual was just night and day.
They took away so much from the game itself. Like, a lot of campaign matches were gone. Like, zombies was out of the game. Like, they just took away so much stuff.
Dude, it looked rough. It looked rough. Think about what monitor you have to play a factor 2. That is correct. Me and Inferno have been chit-chatting about that.
Yeah.
To optimize the system, whatever you get, like, you're going to have to up your monitors if you play on a monitor. If you don't, if you're still on a TV, I'm not going to judge you. It's a judge-free zone. I imagine, and it gets, plus the TVs are getting better now, though. So that's still.
True.
If you're a true gamer and you want to perform well, I'm gonna tell you now, switch to a monitor. It's gonna change your life. It's gonna change everything. A lot of people in the chat have monitors, hands down, gonna probably tell you that. I know personally. I got my first monitor. I was like, I'm never going back to a TV. Like, what is wrong with me? Why was I playing on a 40-inch plasma on Black Ops 2? And I'm getting like, well, I have an Asus such and such, or a B&Q, and I'm going, Jesus. Right. So we got to up our monitor game up, right? We got to up it
for sure. I think we're in that generation of gaming now where it's easier and cheaper to get a monitor. I remember when I first got my 0 millisecond monitor for Black Ops 2. Oh my god! Every time I go to my friend's house and he plays on the family big screen,
bro, don't do it.
I'm like, dude, how the hell do you the game was laggy.
It's so far behind, right?
Oh, yeah.
Your gunfights were. The first time, I love my dear wife. I left my monitor at her house. And I was playing with TC, Kraken. We were playing like Fortnite. And she goes, "You can play on my TV." I legit left her house, went straight home and got my monitor. Like, it was that. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
It's serious. It's real. That's a real thing, and it destroys your eyes, man. It literally kills your eyes. And that's the crazier thing for me, and I always preach this to everyone that gets new setups, is I don't go anything bigger than a 24-inch, and I make sure it is the highest quality Asus model and our BenQ, something that's going to fit my liking, be in my budget, because a brand new Asus monitor is only, what, $200?
Yeah, but if you start looking in the other ones, though, buddy, whoa.
Oh, they go up. I mean, I have the Pro model this year, which is a VG24. And I love my Asus. I think it's amazing. I got it for $180 at Best Buy, and it was awesome. Yes, there are 1440p monitors you can go to and enjoy and spend that $800 to $1,000 range, or $500 to the $800 range. But to me, I'll be 1,000% honest. It makes zero difference competitive-wise. It's only going to make a difference if you play games in that high quality to really, I guess, enjoy the visual aspect of it. Unfortunately, from what I've been hearing, Cold War is capped. No matter what you do, the FPS is going to be capped. And that's what I heard on consoles. So, unfortunately, yes, the monitor talk has to be made for console players. If you're going to play on your family big screen, I pray for your eyes. And you must be insanely cracked out of your mind to play on that game, especially on a big monitor. But consoles are going to be capped, and that's going to be the hardest part. That's going to be the separating factor going into this next game. How big of a difference will you notice compared to playing against PC? Where does that sit?
Inferno says 124 is cap, so I'm not, and Mr. Fantastic says consoles are always capped. So, I mean, again, depending on what you want to do, I guess, do you want to make the switch to PC? That's something else we're going to talk about tonight, too, when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Also, too, we're going to throw this in there. Starting tomorrow at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you can now start to preload Cold War, which makes me think, how big is this going to be? Like, how big is the update going to be? If you're not like me, I have a 4 terabyte hard drive plugged into my PS4 and my Xbox. I'm ready. Because Modern Warfare, bro, I'm gonna tell you something. And I've been gaming for a long time, and back in the day, I don't know if you remember Modern Warfare 2. The DLCs were not even a gig. Like they were small, and now we're getting like each updates 15, 20, 25, 35 at times. Like, Lord have mercy. I'm curious to see what the upload is for Cold War. Like, I'm very curious.
That's the biggest thing is, so I know what game am I thinking of that had the BR installed to it?
It meant to be 238 gigs. There's an image for 238. There's a Steam Flow said there's a leak picture. Don't know if it's 100% true. And Mr. Fantastic's. See, there's different gigs for each game. That tells you something. PS5 is 133 gigs. PS4 is 95 gigs.
That's insane.
You bet.
Honestly, my thing is, are we gonna be able to delete Modern Warfare off our hard drive?
That's a good question.
Does that have to stay on the game? Do we have to keep that? Do we have to keep it?
Well, if you're gonna play them loadouts, I imagine you're gonna have to. Yeah. That's another thing. Like, if you stick to Modern Warfare and I guess play the new Warzone through that one because you want to use your same loadouts, you're gonna have to. Because there's no way they're gonna add the way like. Bro, we're just digging deeper in this hole. So many. For each console, not different game. Gotcha. So Xbox One, PS4 is smaller than the next gen. I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, as another question, do you think that Warzone will become its own app?
Oh man, if it keeps, I feel like Warzone has separated itself completely from Call of Duty pubs itself, right? I could see that. I can totally see that. Like you said, many of your friends just have Warzone. They've never played pubs at all. But it's night and day. It's night and day. Modern Warfare and the Warzone. It's night and day. I'm not going to use that same setup from my Kilo or Gar on multiplayer.
Oh, never.
But I would look. Y'all may pick on me, but I told a lot of people, y'all don't sleep on that Kilo.
Oh, never.
People, they were at the beginning of that game when Warzone came out. I was using the Kilo a little bit. People were like, the Kilo is trash. I went, bro. In multiplayer, that mofo hit, son. You got to be kidding me. The Kilo, and look at it now. Kilo is one of the guns again with the balancing, and they've slowly added in the Warzone. Mm-hmm. It's now a top tier gun.
Yeah,
it's there's a lot of loose ends to this. And that's the next thing is we're going to talk about hacking here in a minute because that's a problem in itself. And I think before we even get to that, hacking is just it's if you have to hack, I don't know why people do it. I've heard different scenarios like, well, if you can't beat them, join them. But for myself, if I get done teaching class and I come home and just want to play a little bit, I don't want to get tagged from 500 meters away because somebody's hacking. After a while, it's like that pushes me away. I don't know about for you because your play style, my play style is totally different. You're more have a high pace in Warzone when I watch your streams and stuff. I imagine on your level, because it's skill-based matchmaking, that's probably the most aggravating thing you got to deal with. Because
for sure.
You're just like, what the hell? What? Like, for real? I haven't personally ran into much on Warzone for me. I haven't met any on Plunder, but multiplayer, I have run across hackers in multiplayer. More.
I have too, actually. Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
I have ran in more in this Call of Duty prior to any other ones. I had found there's a buttload in Modern Warfare 2. A buttload.
Yeah.
you know, oh god, the god mode, the flying, the infinite ammo, you know, the dropping the nuke in the care package. That was the best one. I search and destroy that game on Scrapyard. Dude man got his 4 kills. We seen the care package drop. We could see it on the screen. It was a nuke. I was like, you got to get out of here. I mean, but this one, even in pubs, I've clipped stuff playing shoot the ship. There's a guy in front of me. I'm legit just spraying my MP5 into him, and he just turns and pops me. It's just like, but if we look at hacking, okay, that great anti-cheat software that they have, is that going to push people away?
I think so. This is my thing. When Valorant came out, I'm just going to add just pure anti-cheat. When Valorant came out, they made you download a software just to even play the game. And there were still hackers. So can you imagine with no anti-cheat, no sense of detection, you'll never know. There's no consequence for it. It's pretty much unlikely it's ever going to go away, especially going to this next COD. There's no anti-cheat again. The hardest part is only a few percentage of people will see these hackers, because if you're a casual and your KD's not super high, you're never going to run into someone that drops 90 kills per game. Let's be real.
True. Right there.
So that's the thing, is it's very unlikely for a general population of people to ever see the hacking. But for those above, I would say maybe the 25% threshold of players will see that and will notice it. The thing is, the hacking is so hard to detect nowadays.
True.
Unless you are a top tier player and can just just straight tell. Like, there's no way in hell no one can hit that shot, and it's very noticeable. I mean, if you watch people like Formal or TP or Symphony play,
I can tell. I can tell.
Oh, for sure.
I truly you know.
So I think it's kind of hard because those guys are in those lobbies. Those are the biggest problem. Is the top tier game. That's the reason they hack, right? To get into those kind of guys' lobbies, to mess with a TP or to mess with a nade shot and make them rage. You know, that's the thing. So I mean, yes, hacking, it sucks and it's very, you know, unsportsmanlike. The biggest problem for me going into this next generation is, now that PC is allowed to compete, what does that mean? What does that mean for cash money tournaments? What does that mean for pro point tournaments? What does that mean for online tournaments if we stay in this COVID bubble? What happens? What happens to those guys? Yes, hacking is not something that happens. I would say it's very like low percentage. I'll be real. I don't really. I run into a hacker maybe every one in 2 games, and it's there. Yes, it sucks, but realistically, nothing is on the line. So for me, I could care less. I'll be honest, I could care less. I don't really care. If you're hacking, you know, your life has to be boring, but that's fine. You know, whatever. Do your thing. I'm not putting any money on it. When I start putting money on matches, that's the hardest thing. That's where, like, okay, so what's going to happen now? If some random person drops 30 in a search and destroy and we can't do anything about it, what happens? You know, we have to continue going through this cycle of, well, he's hacking. Let's submit proof. Let's get this proof. Like, that's my biggest fear. You know?
I'm with you. Game battles have to record everything. Dispute, it takes forever. I can't even imagine being money on the line. That's digging in your pocket. High Risk brought up a good point here, because I get aggravated when I watch the streamers. He goes, just because somebody snaps your head doesn't mean you're hacking. Aiming PC is different than aiming on console. I agree with that.
Agreed.
I have a friend that I played some Warzone with at the beginning. Him and his friend are absolutely monsters. They're goons, buddy. And they play on PC with the console. They play on PC but with a controller. Buddy, they full send.
Yeah.
For me, how I play and playing with them, I'm so far behind them. They're making it like they're by far a lot better at playing BRs like that, right? And one of them snapped on Tfue and dropped him. And he clipped it, and he went at Tfue's stream, and Tfue's like, oh, he's hacking 100%. And he made a clip, goes like, bro, I'm on controller. I don't even know where to go to even do a hack out. This is me playing. So then we got to look at, like, the caliber of players that are getting better at the BRs. It's hard to tell. But we all know.
That was the next point.
But I know. But look, Advanced Warfare, I foresee my first aim hack, because I feel like it's harder to cheat on console. you know, you got to have so much stuff. In PC, I can just download some software and it's on my game.
Yeah, that's the thing is with crossplay being added, you're definitely gonna notice the hackers before anything else. I mean, obviously, it's super hard to get a JTAG Xbox. It's super hard to get a hacked PS4. It's hard to get any of these things, and then even play online with them. So now that we
True,
are
I'm with you, high
getting to a
risk.
point where we can download software for free or for $5 a month or whatever it costs, yeah, it sucks, but at the same time, it happens, man. And that's what we're gonna notice it more. I mean, it's a free game. It's on console. It's on PS. It's on PC. You know, thank God we got the opportunity to have a turn off crossplay. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
I do that to Bullet all the time. All right, real quick, high risk. I might put words in your mouth, but I do know what you're saying, though. I am 100% behind you. All right, we're going to roll for this giveaway. Then we'll get right back on this topic because it's a big one.
yeah,
But high risk, I do 100% agree with you. Some people with the mouse, buddy, are dirty. They are dirty, and people on console. I 100% agree with you. Wait a minute, here we go. Congratulations, Tony, for winning the giveaway. My man. Tony, you know, if you want to send it to me, I'll take it from you. hey. Yeah, again, congratulations, Tony, for the giveaway. Awesome. Congratulations. Can't wait to have you back streaming. I know you probably take a little bit of break for the new consoles to come out, but congratulations. But to get back on the hacking part,
yeah,
I get what high risk is saying, right? I get that part.
yeah.
Somebody said JTags. Me personally, I think it's harder to JTag now on consoles because
For sure.
they're looking for it now. See
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's impossible. It's impossible to hack on console.
it's not impossible. It's harder.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
It's
very, very, very hard.
It's
Put it like
hard.
that.
Yes, it's hard to. I feel like
So that's the thing is Sony and Microsoft have created great, software to detect that and to pretty much disable your console from going online. So unfortunately, PC does not have that, and PC is kind of like the dark stepbrother and or stepsister of the family that can do whatever the hell they want and no one will ever know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing is, at the end of the day, console players are going to notice it more because we never had that issue. I mean, yes, every once in a blue moon you walk into a BlackOps 2 lobby and you're flying in the sky. But at the same time, it's very rare. And when you do run into those hackers, you're like, holy crap, it's actually a hacker. Holy shit. I'm out of here. Peace.
That's how I felt. That one, we had a clan war, Friday night clan wars. We're playing Advanced Warfare. And, I've always seen it on the YouTube video hacking, but never seen it, like, in person. And we'll do, like, and it was, like, just, like, nonstop. I mean, like, he aimed, boom, it just snapped on somebody, like to his left, like he can't even see him. Like, but they were noticeable. We can notice that. A lot of us players that play. We all can. But when you get where we got the cross-platform, because that's the next thing we're going to talk about, it's cross-platform. Do you think cross-platform is here to stay? Or do you think?
I don't think it's going anywhere.
I like the fact that I can cut it off and on. I always pick with Bullet. I love Bullet to death. When I play with Bullet, because she plays Plunder, you have to open up cross-platform. If we're playing with someone on Xbox or whatever, I always tell Bullet if I'm on my PlayStation saying, "Yo, switch over," because I don't want to play against PC and Xbox players because the connection just goes wacky, right? For me.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I do like the fact that I can cut it off and on. I do like that part, and I can see if you're on PC and you're playing with the controller, if you're playing on the mouse. I like that I can see that.
Yeah.
I personally don't like cross-platform. I hope it goes away.
Okay.
Connection-wise,
I can see that.
Since our game styles are different, I play a lot of pubs, and I know you can too. I can feel the connection. You know if you got connection, or you know if you don't. Besides looking at if you're 4-bar green, whatever, you know when your weapon's popping people and this and that. Whenever you open that up, and I'm playing with PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, the connection's got to be off. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
That's a tough subject. Is it fun that, hey, me and you can play if we're best friends and I got an Xbox on PlayStation? Awesome.
Right.
Totally cool. We still can connect. Yes, I do feel. I mean, that's one cool part of cross-platform. Fortnite was the first one to introduce that,
Yes.
and the first time. Now, was it? It wasn't right at the beginning of it. It was like halfway to the first year, if I'm not mistaken, during Fortnite when they started it. I could tell then, like, yo, this person's on a different connection than I am. I could tell when they're on the PC for darn sure. When it got a little bit harder at the end to tell. But I knew when someone was on PC or not.
Yeah.
Because, Bo, they start throwing that walls up and they're on you like, geez, Bo, they are cranking. Like, you can tell.
I mean,
Again,
it's the same way too when they integrated mobile. You got to be able to play off your phone and play with your Xbox friend.
say,
That was
yep.
interesting, I would say. I think it all really, really, really comes down to how good your internet is, first off. And second off, internet's just getting stronger and stronger and stronger as we go. Um,
In some areas.
oh, for sure, and that's the thing though. So if
I'm,
I live in Atlanta and I can get a gig line compared to someone in Minnesota that cannot get a gig line, who's
bruh,
gonna connect better, me
bruh,
or them?
bruh, I'm going to be dead honest with you. What I'm about to tell you, don't laugh at me, player. Okay? Where I live at's rural. Okay?
Okay,
We're talking rural. My
all
old
right.
house I lived in, my download speed was 10.
I got
10.
something better for you. I got something better for you. My grandmother's house is in a very historic part of California,
Okay?
and her download and upload speed are 1
See,
megabytes
I
per
didn't even
second.
have a one upload. So like, dude, it's just one of those weird things. Like, it's yes, internet is getting stronger, but some places ain't getting it. And that's the crazy
Nope,
part. That's
nope,
the crazy
nope.
part. But you can always tell. I know if I'm playing against a PC player, I can tell. You can just tell, especially if you die by me. Watch the movement. I can tell. I don't know if anybody else in chat can tell. Back, I got no neck, player, so I hide my redneck. But I can tell. I can just tell for playing COD for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, I can. If you can't, if people can't, yeah, I know some of y'all understand me. You can just tell.
I think the
I,
biggest thing for me, is where the host is. I mean, honestly, if I'm in California and my all my teams in,
the
let's say,
distance
New
to the
York,
server. That's right.
it's gonna definitely make a difference. And that's the thing for me is I played in Hawaii for a year in Black Ops 4 with
Oh
people
God,
like
how was
Skaterade
that?
that lived in Chicago. I would definitely notice it. But
Oh,
I
for
mean,
sure. God.
that's the thing is the distance. People don't really pay attention to that. So if my best friend lives in Colorado and I'm all the way in Atlanta, our server distances are a lot different. Which is stronger? It's gonna put us on the stronger connection. Even if that's not your strongest connection, that's the lobby's strongest connection. There's so much that plays in part of that. And honestly, it kind of sucks because we don't have dedicated servers like we do in on CS:GO, our PUBG, our Apex, where we can click the Oregon server. I want to play on this server. I can't do that on COD. It's not gonna happen. I'm just gonna go wherever they want me to go, and that's kind of the tough thing, where we're at right now, which kind of sucks. I wish we can pick a dedicated server to play on. Um, open a menu up on my PS4 and click California only. Like how we have on Apex, our PUBG, our Valorant, and just play on these servers. It's not as easy accessible on console. And that's where the biggest, I wouldn't say complaints are, but the biggest issues are is they can't really do that, so they don't really know how much easier life could be, kind of thing. Um, but it just sucks when we're not factoring in like who we're playing with, skill-based matchmaking on their end, their distances, where they live, how good the internet is. There's just so
There's
much
a lot. You're right.
to put into that argument, and it kind of sucks because at the end of the day, that's out of people's control. And
Yeah.
that's kind of the sad thing about competitive gaming is, and you can talk to any pro player. Sometimes you gotta move, you gotta make these drastic changes, and that's the hardest part, man. And like I said, it all depends on how serious you take the game, right? If the game is just enjoyable and you can play it and don't really care
Yep.
about the I guess the mathematical portion of all this, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. But if you're trying to compete, trying to
Make a
gain
living.
something from this, you have to factor in all these issues and things you have to go and worry about. Um, that's what makes this expensive. That's why guys
Oh,
spend thousands of dollars on routers and monitors and internet.
controllers.
You name it.
Oh
And
man.
that's the hardest part. Is I think if we're just talking a purely casual player standpoint, none of this matters.
No,
None of it matters.
I
It
don't
doesn't
look at
matter.
it that much.
I think crossplay is awesome. I think that there's been years, I can definitely say for all of us, where we're like, damn it, I wish you had a PlayStation so we could play together.
True,
And or I
true.
wish you had an Xbox so we could play together. Now that conversation's gone and we got a free Call of Duty. That's the crazy part, right? That's the thing where it's like, good on them for cashing out, that you can just go ahead and say, all right, I know everyone knows what Call of Duty is. Now it's free and you can play with Xbox friends, our PC friends, our place. That to me was a dub. That was a win. For sure, whoever thought of that, smart man. Honest to God, the smartest person to do that. They saw how successful Fortnite was, how big it was getting, what
Yes.
they were doing, and they're like, we want to cash in on this. How do we do it? And they figured it out. The BR. Unfortunately, there's games like PUBG and H1Z1 that fell off the face of the earth. They came out and they became free on consoles, and it just wasn't where it wasn't there anymore. It was gone. So unfortunately, I think we're still in the testing phase of Call of Duty, and Call of Duty has been notorious for a bunch of different mistakes and unbalances and just garbage things in general. So it's
Yes.
kind of hard to really be on their head when it's like, damn it, why am I always lagging when I play my Xbox friend? It's
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
at such an experimental stage of all this.
Hmm.
And again, like I said, if you're looking from a casual standpoint, this is awesome. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you live in North Dakota, I'm in California. I'm playing with you. That's dope. But if I'm
Yeah.
going to compete against you
No,
and I'm in California
I
and
love
you're
you.
in New York,
I love
Lord
you, but
have
we ain't teaming. We
Lord
went,
have mercy.
boy. We went down a different rabbit hole. We totally got off of hacking. You know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did. We did.
All right, let's pull it back in. We'll talk some more on that rabbit hole here in a minute. To get back on hacking,
Right.
the software part.
Right.
If I do play some PC games, I play Rust. I've dabbled in Smite on PC. I've dabbled a little bit in League of Legends. If somebody is hacking in Rust, it may take a little bit. We're talking like hours or minutes. Boom, they're off,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Even for Fortnite, they were quick with it as well. Do you think Activision? I mean, there's somewhere Counter Strike, bro. Like, you get hit fast. If you're even, showing it, you get hit. You get hit. You get knocked
Yeah.
offline because you're hacking. Do you think Activision will ever jump on that?
I think this year is going to be the biggest year for them. Like I said, now that you can play money matches on PC, it's going to be the biggest year. Valve and CS:GO have that Overwatch system where if someone, thinks you're hacking, they'll report your account, and then you'll go into this giant list, and anyone that owns CS:GO can go through this list and watch these VODs back
Yep.
and vote and determine, yeah, that guy's hacking, yes, and then however many votes that gets, that guy's gone. I think if Activision could do that, that's a step forward. But as far as competitive standpoint only, the hacking thing has to be addressed with the anti-cheat. It has to. There's no way around that. It's going to cost money, and it's
Yep.
going to suck, but you have to do that. And that's strictly for competitive only.
Hmm.
And that's the biggest issue is even without an Overwatch system, without any kind of anti-cheat, it's like the Wild West. You can do whatever the hell you want. There is no repercussion. It's a free game, you know? And that's the toughest point of all of it is how much do they want to invest in this free game? Does it matter that much to them,
All right. So you said for competitive, right? Like I see it now whenever you watch the kill races with the big guys, and your championship match, you're in it. You're up 7 kills. The last game, you run across a hacker, right? You lose. Like there's no replay. There's no let's start the match over. It's done. Like with the hacking aspect, if you put money involved in it, right? Again, like Activision's not putting it on, but it still is putting their game out there for these to build the audience. They're gonna have to do something.
Yeah.
Public us like me coming in for work. I get what you're saying, and I'm gonna have to deal with it, right? And again, if I'm not a good player, I may not see it at all. But what you said is, if there's money on the line, buddy, that's gonna pee me off because that's out of my control. Like, and then
For
nothing
sure.
and then nothing happens. Oh, what was it? It wasn't a recent one, but it was one of the big the not BRs, but the kill race ones that had all the heavy hitters in that mug were in that piece, and it Nick Merckx was in it or somebody. And Nick Merckx was talking about there's hackers, and they're like, "Hey, can we replay that lobby?" And they're like, "Nah, dude, we lost."
Yeah.
And it's like they just lost a chance to win $100,000, and you're like, "Dude, that's first and second. That's a big chunk of change." Like when you start adding that, there's got to be something. There
And
has
that's the argument right now is how much do they care about the competitive scene? You know, with people like because I compete in Apex Legends as well. A
mm-hmm.
lot of the pros have direct connection to the devs. So if they say, "Oh, I'm gonna message John," John will go ahead and ban them instantly. Like
Yep,
that's how much they love their competitive scene and their creators and their guys. COD doesn't have that. There is no one you can go in contact and say, "Hey, this is my clip. I need you to ban this guy." That doesn't happen. So that's the hardest part right now is how much do they want to invest in the competitive scene? Does it make them any money? Is it worth it for them?
true.
There's all these
That
arguments that can be made for Modern Warfare. Is competitive even worth investing in? Um, and again, this is a very small population. We're talking less than 1% of players are pro players, are competitive players. And that's a very huge difference compared to the 97% of people that can just get on and play the game.
But
You know, so
but for me, like I enjoy watching esports. I enjoy watching the pros play. Like I
yeah,
watch, I keep up with it, even though I may not want to anymore experience that competitive style anymore. Knowing the fact that this coming year, Call of Duty's going to be on PC, I'm low key worried about it.
hmm
For the fact, like even if they do money eights anymore, what was the tournaments you used to have on Sundays? What were they called?
2Ks.
The 2Ks on Sunday. Like when you throw in the public scene, right?
Yeah,
I get my squad. Yo, we're playing against Crim Six. These boys, hands down. Me personally, I'm not gonna stand a chance. Who's gonna know I put on something? Right? They're gonna know, right? But
yeah.
what's it matter? Well, who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like that worries me for the next one coming up.
hmm
Like there's going to be a lot of stuff coming involved. Look how many. I don't know how many have ever been caught during live competitive action have cheated on a PC game. But I imagine there's been some.
A lot. A lot.
Wasn't what was it? What was the Optic had it? Was it League or whatever game they played?
Yeah,
Like
CS:GO.
CS:GO. They like in the match
Yeah.
they found out they were hacking.
He got banned. He got banned middle game.
You know,
Yeah.
like that's going to be a major problem if you
Yeah.
look at the competitive side. I
Yeah.
feel like pub scene, we're just going to have to adapt to it and just be like, man, these assholes. You
That's
know,
the thing, you know, is like I said, it all boils down to how serious you take the game. First off, right?
yeah.
That's the argument for everything. Oh, it's just a game. You're freaking out
But
about nothing.
but damn it, I
Exactly.
lost.
Exactly. That's so. But the thing is, I don't know if anyone's noticing this trend, but competitive gaming is the next MLB. It's the next NFL. It's the next
Oh,
NBA.
yeah.
So unfortunately, these things are gonna have to start getting addressed because kids are getting smarter. Competitive players are evolving. People that were casual now want to taste that. They want to see what it's about. So, unfortunately for Call of Duty, you're gonna have to invest something. Your general demographic is now wanting to become competitive players. I think more and more I see a lot of people that complain about it. We're just regular casual players, people that just want to get on for the weekend. Now they're starting to be like, damn it, this sucks. I want to start winning. What is going on? What's happening? So they're kind of evolving into competitive players themselves, even though they may not say that. That's exactly what's happening here. Is esports is growing to a point where it's now a giant demographic. Everyone wants to do it. It's kind of like being a YouTuber now, right? You want to do this. You want to get to this. How do I do it? How do I get there? Now is there's cheating involved? Like that's not fair, you know. So now we're on that, I guess that back road where it's like, hey, well now hacking is this giant thing. People are starting to really pay attention to it. How do we fix it? Look at Rainbow Six. even them, they have one of the best anti-cheats in the world, and yet console is flooded with Rainbow Six hackers, and that's, and like I said, there's just so many different spectrums that go on. Software is getting smarter. People are getting smarter. It just sucks. I think right now anti-cheat has to be enabled, and or an Overwatch system. And even then, how much is that going to change the game?
True.
Uh,
All
like I
right,
said,
well,
it's a free game. It's tough.
now, I know we're going on a different rabbit hole, but I don't mind sticking on this subject here. When you talk about having that separation between your pro scene, your competitive scene, and your pub scene, right? At one point, we had clan wars, right?
Right.
To me, that was a fine line for competitive, but it was for pub players, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was something there, right? It's for us to for pub players to play that competitive. Besides the ranked playlist, we had that.
Right.
Do you remember in BO4 when they started not listening to the pub scene and started making the guns more for competitive? How big of an uproar that happened?
Yeah.
So that my part is that how can you integrate them two together? And if you put BR involved, because I feel like BR is going to be another big esports thing that's going to be booming. Fortnite's still huge.
Yeah.
How, besides having a competitive playlist, there's got to be a middle, somewhere in the middle ground. Because I got so pissed. We're going back to Advanced Warfare, the Speakeasy. That thing was OP. The ASM one was OP for pubs and for competitive. Then all of a sudden, the pro said, "Yo, this has got to be. We've got to change this." It got changed. The pub scene goes, "What the crap are you doing? This gun is awesome. We love it." Yeah. I don't know how in the world that can be put. Somebody in chat said need to open up private modes for BR. You could do that, but then you open up another can of worms.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to go down that hole.
Connection-wise, I'm East Coast, you're West Coast. How's that going to work? Connection-wise, right? I mean, there's so much ties in play. That's just...
So, Modern Warfare actually addressed that this year. They had the competitive playlist and the public playlist, right?
Yep.
They tweaked guns for both playlists. So, in competitive, the MP5 had a 2% or 0.2% slower reload speed compared to public match. So they are trying to do that. They are trying to differentiate the balances. And that's definitely something they're doing more now. Like I said, it just depends on realistically how they're going to do that for Warzone and with public match.
They don't do it. What did Fortnite have? Fortnite had something where how they can pull all these players in for these online tournaments. Whoever was the top.
Private codes. It was private server codes.
Private server code. So, could we do something? Do you think Warzone could possibly do something like that, or is that just something too?
I'm gonna be honest. I think Warzone has never been a team versus team aspect.
True.
It was team
I agree with you.
Randomness. That's the beauty of Warzone is you're not playing against. It's not Nick Merckx versus, let's say Nate Shot. It's Nate Shot versus
Randoms.
Jeremy Colombo. You know what I mean? That's a thing.
Entertainment wise, it's perfect.
Yes.
It's perfect. Visually.
Now look at other teams, other games. PUBG, it was team versus team. Apex, it's team versus team. Fortnite, it's team versus team. Warzone's never been like that. I don't think they're ever going to want to do that because then all these great players are not going to drop 30 kills a game.
It will be, entertainment-wise, it loses its value.
Yes.
Maybe, yes. All right, if you look at Fortnite, if we're going down this rabbit hole here, Keemstar's Fortnite Fridays, I would watch them the whole entire time. Mm-hmm. There was one time my friend got dropped by Aiden. We're like, dude, he's on TV. He died by Aiden. We just talked trash on picking on him. But you know what I'm trying to say? And then when they did the whole team on team thing, I couldn't watch it because everybody was so darn good. It showed who the best one was, right? You knew who the best was, but how we can have that for the gun balance wise and map wise and stuff, like how can there be that middle ground to suffice the pub side and the pro side? That's where I think it's going to be tough to have your true. I mean, again, we could have our arena game modes, but dude, like, if I know I'm not good, I'm gonna go in and pub stomp some.
Right. I think that's skill-based matchmaking. I think that's all has to be.
Man, we're diving in so many stuff right now. It's crazy.
It's tough because unfortunately you really can't just negate one thing, right? It's like how do we make it balanced? It's kind of hard because skill-based matchmaking is a thing now. Before, pub stompers could just go into lobbies with their squad and just destroy lobbies. Now you have these two teams now against team versus team. It's not easy anymore. No. So that's why I said everyone's kind of turning into a competitive player because it's not really public match anymore.
Your mindset is competitive.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. I'm with you on that one. I don't think private matches was really good. Will not be good. It's not. Private matches will be entertaining to watch at all. 100%. I agree with you. It wouldn't be entertainment wise. It's not enjoyable at all. Yeah. All right. Last thing on PUBG before we get more talking about the pro scene going to PC. We've had quite a few BRs come out. Okay. I never got to play H1Z1. I barely played. I think I played like 4 games on PUBG. Okay. Fortnite was huge. Blackout, I think, was huge at the start. Me personally, I know me and Inferno had our differences on that, but I feel like Blackout was up there with Fortnite for a tad bit, then it went down hard.
Yeah. You
got Apex Legends, and there were some other ones that came out but didn't last. You turned into a chicken in one of them when you got there were some ones that didn't last at all. Apex Legends, we got Warzone now, and I'm gonna throw COD Mobile in there with their BR, which I don't know how many people play mobile.
You know what? Ooh, that's an interesting topic.
The COD Mobile.
Yeah, that's the biggest esport globally, right?
Are you for real? There's an esport in that now?
That's the biggest esport in the world. COD Mobile is the biggest Call of Duty game to date.
Well, I'm gonna get honest with you. If they brought that to a game and I can have my favorite guns, my best maps, how my character looks, dude, that's just, boom. But if we're looking at BRs,
right,
how they're all have merged, and I'm gonna say Warzone right now is the I'm gonna say the most popular one at the moment. I think Fortnite's making another strong push because they just got rid of skill-based matchmaking in their pub games. How do you feel? Do you think BR is here to stay? Do you feel like it's going to be a major future? Because I feel like, Inferno talk about it today, I think it's already peaked. But with Fortnite was the peak of it. But everybody played Fortnite. People are still playing Fortnite. Me personally, I'm not. I use the kids at school to kind of get like an idea because I'm a teacher. A lot of kids still play Fortnite. Some of them have never touched Warzone. Care nothing about it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like BRs are over with, or do you think we're going to continue to see a rise, or do you think we're going to see it start falling?
You know what? I think I wouldn't say it's the tag of a BR. It's the tag of a free game.
The freeness of it.
Free games win. Unfortunately. However, I look at games like I play Apex Legends, and that has saw the greatest surge in the past. So this new season is going to be the best season to date. So Apex is rising in a lot of different ways now that it's crossplay. It looks like this is going to be another good 3 months for them. Now look at Warzone. Again, every game has its own kind of player to it, right?
And player base. I will say
exactly,
that, yeah.
Exactly. Like, I think Fortnite has the visual aspects of it down. It's cartoony. It's fun. You can play as Iron Man. There's a lot of different things that draw you into that game.
Yeah.
And it's free. And then you look at Apex. There's different abilities, legends. There's zones. There's guns. Again, totally different taste, but it has the same flavor. It's a BR, but they have these abilities. It changes the game up a little bit, and then you look at Warzone. It's Call of Duty. It's Call of Duty. That's what it boils down to. It's Call of Duty.
It's Call of
It's a
Duty.
free Call of Duty, and it's crossplay.
Yep.
So I think it's gonna stay in certain games. Other games have tried doing it. Fallout tried doing a Battle Royale. What was the other one that
Battlefield.
came out?
I forgot about Battlefield.
Battle Royale. And it was a good BR. I played that for about 2 months straight, but it just fell off. It just wasn't appealing anymore. Same thing. I think what really killed Blackout is that it wasn't free. If Blackout was free, it would have been bigger than Warzone. If it was crossplay and free,
I will agree. I will. I'm going to jump on. I think you're right. I think Blackout would have had a longer lifespan. Let me say this correctly. I know a lot of people would like Blackout. So, if I'm looking at streaming wise, even though you had your good players that played Blackout, this is me personally. So I know a lot of people maybe disagree with me here. Honestly, when Dark Disrespect really stopped playing in the was it Red Zone or whatever it was called for Blackout, I pretty much stopped watching it.
Yeah.
I know TP was still pulling great numbers on it.
Oh yeah, him and Formal, both.
Tetris has a BR. Tetris has a
yeah.
Bro, high risk. Get out of here, player.
They do. They actually do.
Wow.
I mean, Fall Guys is considered a BR. So I mean,
well, it is. There's different zones. Okay, yeah, Fallout, man. If you you can do different concepts, man. But but if we look at value wise, like entertainment wise, I enjoy watching. Who's that guy? I know you and me watch him on Apex. He's funny as all get out. That one day we were dude, I crack. He makes watch.
Dude,
he makes Apex Legends fun to watch.
Exactly. No, for sure.
He makes it fun to watch, and I think that's been some of the problem with some of these BRs that haven't stood the test of time yet and have stayed relevant is because the entertainment wise hasn't been there. I guess is that safe for me to say? Is that?
Yeah, it definitely dries out. It gets boring.
So then,
it's the same thing over
and over again. That's what I'm trying to think of. Like, will BRs still be relevant playing wise? Besides watching your favorite streamer or this, and that, will it still be there? Like, that's one thing I'm concerned about BR. Because personally, I got burnt out on Fortnite, and I haven't really cared about any BRs. There's visually, beautiful fun, but like, man, it got boring after a while. Like, I'm dropping in the same spot.
Yeah.
I'm looking for all this same loot. I'm doing this. Like, that's why it gets repetitive.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like I said, it just depends on the game. Apex Legends is always evolving, always adding new characters,
True.
Adding new maps, adding new abilities, changing abilities. Fortnite doesn't do that. You just get a new map, or you get an airplane, or you get a car, or you get a new dancing weapon, or whatever the hell it may add. So there is some type of additional things you're getting as you continue to play the game. It's not just the same M4 over and over and over and over and over. Again, I think Warzone is popular right now because it's a Call of Duty and it's free. That's the only reason why Modern Warfare didn't die.
Oh, buddy, I 100% agree with you. They dropped it at the perfect time.
Oh, for sure.
It saved Modern Warfare.
It did.
It saved it. I only play Ground War. I could not play Team Deathmatch. The only thing I play now is, shoot the shipment, because I like the chaotic part of it. But if you took me to a regular hard point Dom, dude, I know I love Call of Duty, but man, like 4 or 5 games, I'm done. I lose interest.
Oh yeah, it gets really repetitive really quick.
Warzone came out and it flipped the script. It flipped it hard. And that leads me to the next question. Do you think at any time, because Warzone is boom, it's big. Look how much money's getting pumped in these tournaments weekly, buddy. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Do you feel like Call of Duty will ever jump over the line and say, we're switching to we'll do BR competitively only?
No, never. Never.
You don't think so?
Never.
All right, let me ask you this question then, because I know you play professionally. What if it comes to the fact that you can make more money in BR tournaments than you can playing
Mm-hmm.
in a pro league?
So this is a conversation I actually have with Aqua. He played on the Gorillas last year. I don't know if anybody knows him
I know.
really.
I've looked at. I remember him. I used to watch him a little bit.
So with Aqua, we were talking about that situation right there in itself. Like Symphony, Nick Merckx, and them have made over almost $1 million just in Warzone. Um, and to be honest with you, they're not having to play against the formals and the scumps. They're playing
True.
against random people in different states and the randomness of COD. So if I can make money playing against, I would say randoms, that's huge. If I can make 300,000 in a day playing against some randoms and enjoying the game and not having really any strategy, that's dope. However, I think what it comes down to is the competitiveness of that. How competitive is it? I mean, yes, kill races are fun, but how much diversity can you add to that? And I think with competitive COD, it's more or less like it takes a lot of competitive drive, and that's where it stays. And that's same thing with Gears of War, right? How does a
True.
game like Gears of War and Halo stay relevant? It's that competitive drive. That I mean, they've even talked about doing BRs of their own, and it never was a thing that worked. It was not worth the investment. I think, like I said, Warzone is popping because the Call of Duty first off and it's free. But I think competitive COD has such a different flavor. It's so interesting to watch. You watch it for that reason alone because they're playing team versus team. These trades matter. These names are huge. The plays they make against other top tier players are what keeps you watching. If you watch Attach turn on 3 kids in Warzone, it's not as interesting to watch as if he does it to Scumpy. You
Oh,
know what I
true.
mean?
Yeah, I agree with you.
So again, I don't think it's ever going to go anywhere just because of that reason alone. Now, if there was no more competitive drive in Call of Duty, if people were over playing Search and Destroy for a year straight, then yeah, you're probably right. I just think that if people can play Capture Flag and Halo for over 7 to 8 years, probably longer than that. I think it's longer than that.
And
I think it's almost
CS:GO is
12
one of
years
them
now.
too.
Same thing. It's just the competitive drive that's happening. It's the thing that's making it worth watching is you want to watch these players compete against other top tier players. It's not just I want to see them just drop 30 kills. I mean, yeah, it's cool to watch, but then it just gets boring.
I brought that up because, you know, I look at how the Fortnite professionals blew up. They're streaming it. They're streaming playing the games. And again, I know this has been brought up too because they asked Scump this. Well, I think Courage said this, but like 100% Scump should already retire because he'll make a lot more money.
Mm.
If I'm a young kid, and that's why my question is like, do you think this is going to be the future for Call of Duty? Because think about it. If you didn't know, like for me, like I knew the guy you're talking about for Gorillas because I watched him play.
Yeah.
If you ask anybody else whose people are, they may not have a clue who this person is.
Right. Exactly.
But if they were on BR and they won Huskers' tournament last week, I instantly know who he is. I'm worried about Activision seeing that big portion of
Right.
BR and going to start pulling them people out of the competitive scene. That's the only thing. Like I start thinking about, like man, I know Scump is going to. He said he's got 4 more years of competitive that he's going to be done with it.
Yeah.
But man, money talks, though, man.
Oh, it does. You're not wrong.
And-
I think
and-
the hardest thing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good, and that's what worries me about that.
Yeah. Honestly, this is my personal opinion, and this is just something that I've noticed over the years. Is yes, BRs make you a lot of money, and they're more popular because they're more easy to play. Anyone can play a BR. Competitive COD, you need 3 other teammates. You gotta make accounts. Gotta spend money. It's a lot of steps. But the thing is, the sponsorships and the money you could make if you hit that pro league is way more stable for one,
Oh,
and there's no questions asked.
Good point.
You're on a contract. If one day Warzone falls apart and is over, you're done. That's
true.
it.
You
There's
made a
no
good
more.
point right there.
And
didn't
so
even think
that's the
about that.
thing is people want to play for that stability of a contract. I mean, yes, you can get signed to a giant streaming org, but what if the game you like to play falls apart? I mean, I've seen it happen to a lot of streamers.
Nick Merckx, he dropped Fortnite like a bad habit.
Exactly, and it happens. I mean, the game gets stale. There's no more drive for entertainers. I call them entertainers. I really don't call them competitors because they're not competing against top tier players, but they're more entertainers, right? Same thing with Shroud. Shroud left CS:GO because he didn't want to play. He didn't want to put too much brain power in. He just wants to play the games he enjoys to play, you know. And even if he was the best in the world at a Valorant or an Apex, he said, "I'm gonna play whatever is fun to me, and I get the most viewers in." Honestly, Again, it all depends on how relevant COD can stay going into the next generation of consoles. And that all has to do with different games and different ways that people play it. It's tough because I've seen great games have these great, I guess, options open, like a Destiny, right? Destiny was awesome. It was super cool, super fun, but it just died out, even though the the main portion was a lot of casual players, entertainers. Again, this all has to go back and forth where what's stable? What is gonna be stable? Where does my contract stay? How much money can I make if Warzone goes away compared to if I stay playing Call of Duty for my next 4 years? You know what I mean? It all depends on the stability of money and how much you actually like the game. Let's be real, like that's at the end of the day, that's what it is.
I didn't even. I'm with you on that one now. I feel what you're saying. The contract wise, and that's the part that I was saying. Like, is this the future of Call of Duty? Because what I don't want to see is them picking. Right. I enjoy esports. I enjoy watching them. The world you start. I used to enjoy watching certain of the COD tournaments. There were some good ones that everybody watched them. The one in LA they always had. You watch because before Anaheim, it was always before Champs.
Anaheim.
I watched them all. Even IW, I was watching it. And I kept up with players. And what I don't want to see, and don't get me wrong, I love BR is fun, but I don't want to see that money. I don't want it to be the future of COD. I hope it never does. Yeah. But that's just something that I want to bring up because you're starting to see some of these kids who playing these Warzone tournaments who are nobody are now being a somebody. But they're just an entertainer, but they're stupid good at the game.
Yeah.
Aiden is one of those. I feel like I watched the dude man go into pubs and just destroy the pubs.
Yeah,
I can't imagine him playing Call of Duty professionally. I wonder how he can hold up.
That's the argument, right? Right now is like, for instance, like Space Swag. They talked about him playing on the academy roster.
He won't
everyone's
last.
there's no way in hell that guy's gonna continue to be this good. You know what I mean? And again, that just goes to the pure fact of if you're gonna play against top talent, that's where you gotta see that. Where it starts. You know what I mean? Like I said, Warzone for pro players is easy because they're pro players.
Oh yeah.
People like Symphony was a pro player. He was a pro Fortnite player. So of course it's going to be easy for him.
Because there's times I swear he's cheating, but he's not.
and that's my thing is, again, it all comes down to the entertainment aspect is anyone can go into a Battle Royale lobby and potentially run into formal. That's our TP or a nade shot, and that's the drive for these people. In other situations, competitive COD, yes, it is declining because it's getting so much more harder. And that's the thing is, it all has to fall on entertainment value. If people still want to see the top versus the top, it's all certain people, certain flavors, but it's such a small margin of people. But if those small margins stay the same, it's not going to go anywhere. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think competitiveness is in everyone. They love seeing it. The drive is unreal. It's unmatched. Again, it's just entertaining to see, and that's where the stability of those contracts lie. Even if Activision were to say we're not gonna give you guys any money, MLG, UMG, CMG, money versus money, that's always gonna be there. It's never gonna go away. I mean, everyone always has something to prove. Let's be real. So that's the hardest part, and that's the pure drive.
You're right. You're right.
So
that's just what that's what I'm afraid of, is them to turn it to an entertainment value instead of keeping it the competitive side. Right? Yeah. That's what I don't want to see for BRs when it comes to Call of Duty BRs. There's a small margin of pub stompers that could hang with pro players. It's a small margin. Bullet, I am not one of them. My game battle days are completely over. I enjoyed my run on my bracket we had for GBs, 35-3. Okay, we were good, right? But that was a different person. I love Search and Destroy. Now I can't stand it. No more waiting in the lobbies for me for them to join. I can't do that junk no more. Dude, I played in... We tried to play a 1-2K tournament on Ghost. Ooh. I think, God, what time did it start? 8 o'clock in the morning. When it started, right? The bracket, because we were such a small tier team, we were small. Our record wasn't up there with some of the other guys. and we like made it. We beat it. We beat quite a few teams, and it just sit there. We waited. I remember waiting for like forever for the bracket to catch up. I was just like,
Mhm.
oh my, and that's what stopped me, hands down. I miss it at times, yes, but
Of
not
course.
really. But not really.
It
I
has to be the
miss.
drive.
I mean, yeah. Again, and I'm at the time I'm 30 years old. Like, okay, at that age, 30 years old, I'm an old man playing professional esports. You know, what I'm an old man,
Mhm.
right? So, but yes,
I mean,
I will agree. There are some pub players that can. Face swag one of them,
age
no.
is age is a number. Age is a number.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it at that. Forrest, the guy that plays on NIP, he's almost 40 years old.
I know there's some people that are at age that still got it, buddy. I mean, hey, if me and you right now want to do some 2v2 game battles, don't count me out, player. I'll pop off now, but give me a little bit to warm up.
I mean, like I said, it's all to the point where it's again how serious you take it. Activision knows that competitive esports is here to stay.
I
It's
I
never gonna go away.
I do hope we talked about this in the last podcast. I I truly do hope that they can add a good rank playlist, a good one, right? A good one, because we need a
Yeah.
good one. To me, there hasn't been a better playlist, a rank playlist than Black Ops 2. We have, to me personally, that I thought that was awesome. The levels, how you leveled up, you can see where you're at.
Yeah.
I thought that was just awesome. All right, the next topic, and this will be our last topic for tonight. This is going to factor into you because you've dabbled in the pro scene before. I haven't.
Mhm.
How do you feel about Call of Duty now switching to PC for competitive? We've dabbled on the hacking part of it.
Uh-huh.
How do you feel like it's going to play out this year? That's a big move, buddy. To me, like me,
Yeah.
if I had played console my whole life and I haven't been like these top players like Scump, Carmen, all these guys that are playing PC games. I mainly play console. That's a big move, man.
Yeah. Well, fortunately enough, it's PC with controller. You cannot use mouse and keyboard. It is
True,
banned.
it's banned.
Unfortunately, for money matches, you cannot use a keyboard. Only controller. So
I'm
money match
real
wise,
quick. I'm gonna cut you off for 1 second. I'm glad you said that. I didn't know that was banned
yeah.
because I was talking to somebody about this. If there was a pro match, right? I'm gonna talk about Shroud. If
Mhm.
Shroud and Skunk went on a 1v1, search and destroy, final map, right? I feel like the keyboard and mouse, well, he wouldn't stand. The keyboard and mouse, the controller person's never gonna stand a chance.
Shroud don't miss. So
You get
yeah.
what I'm trying to say? People who play on mouse and keyboard competitively, that's a whole nother level. We haven't got to that point yet, especially competitive side.
Hmm.
That to me, when they ever do switch, if they ever allow money matches to be keyboard and mouse, I think that's when we're gonna see some dramatic. Okay, go for it. How do you feel about pro scene going to PC now? Sorry to interrupt you.
Um, to be honest with you, I think it's good just for the gameplay aspect of it. You get way more options. You're playing against, you know, I think you're not playing against the console as much as you were before. And when I say playing against the console, I mean you have abilities to get the greatest frames per second, better graphics, no lag, no kind of screen tear. And then again, that all falls on how much money you have towards a PC. So, unfortunately, I think it's a good change. Personally, I think it's a great change. I think that adds a lot more customability to your gameplay. What you like to play on, you're not capped on a PS4 anymore, so you are going to see a lot of different people, I would say, probably progress and or, get better at the game because of that reason. Um, for me, more or less, it's good. I think it's awesome that they're still opening up the lanes for PS4. Now, Xbox is a funny situation, right? So PS4 players can still compete on the pro circuit, but Xbox players can't.
I did
So
not know that.
yeah, it's only PS4 and PC that can play for pro points. Xbox players are not able to play for pro points. I don't know why. I don't know why that. I think Sony
Wow.
still has a contract. So that's probably a big reason why, and that keeps obviously their sales up, right? So For me, more or less, I think it's gonna stay the same because I'm not coming from Xbox, I'm coming from the same scene I've always been on, and
Yeah.
it's for me the difference is because like I said, I play Apex now, and I'm on PC for that. I think the greatest thing I've learned is if it's staying on controller, the competition is not gonna change.
Well,
Um,
yeah. If you're not going to play against people with a mouse and keyboard, yeah, I can see that.
yeah. And so I think it's a good change regardless. I think it's good for the graphics wise of it. There's no more like I guess cheapness. Like I don't know if people that played Warzone on console that moved to PC, but they saw with the FOV slider and how great the graphics were and the settings were different. Like wow, like that's huge. Like that changed the game for a lot of people. But with this being changed, I think the PC players are gonna have the upper advantage going into this first 2 months until next gen comes out. And that's personally my opinion on it. Like I said, it all just depends on your hardware, right? I mean,
Bronze brought up a very good point here. He said, "Don't discount aim assist PC on console is OP."
so that's funny because
I've never played it on PC, so I don't know.
so for okay, so that's strictly for Apex. I don't know the percentages for COD, but for PC Apex, if you're on controller, the aim assist is 0.4%, right? If you're playing on console, it's 0.6. People say you're never gonna notice that difference, but let me tell you, that difference is there. I can tell it's huge. I don't know if COD is doing that. I don't know if COD's gonna make two different aim assists. I don't know if it's gonna be the same exact of percentages. Um, that's gonna play a factor. I mean, that's something I never even looked into. If it's the same exact percentage, no difference. If there's a different percentage, console players may have the advantage. Again, that's all just strictly for controller players.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna counter in any MNK people because we're not gonna play against it. I don't that's something I'm not worried about. Now, for instance, on Apex, I have to worry about that. There are
Yes.
there are mouse and keyboard players in tournaments that I enter, and they're insane. Their movement is insane. But then again, this is all things that have to boil down to what are we playing, what's the bans, what's not banned, what does the percentages lie, um, and that's pretty much where that is. But aim assist on console, if it's stronger than PC, then of course. But if there is no difference, then there is no difference. It's the same exact thing. The only thing you're gonna have to fight against in a competitive standpoint is graphics. If I have a 3080 compared to a guy that has a 1080, trust me, there's a
Oh
difference.
man, yes.
So that's the biggest thing, and that's why I always push people that don't have the thousands of dollars to spend, buy a good console, buy a PS4 Pro, especially if you're going to compete in a game like that where you don't want to have to worry about your hard drive not being big enough, or your RAM not being strong enough, or your graphics card not being good enough, or your CPU not being good enough. All these things, there's so many margins to check off in PC playing compared to PS4. I just put the game in, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, so it all just boils down to availability for one, um, and how much you can learn, I guess, on both ends of that spectrum, right? Because if once you buy a PC, you're now learning about the PC, having to understand what graphics you need, what's going to be the best performance, where can I, overclock my stuff. And again, it's a giant rabbit hole of things, where that's what it's going to boil down to. But these are very small margins of changes, very small compared to just player versus player. These are very small margins, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, for a competitive standpoint, if it stays on controller, there will be no drastic difference.
Yeah.
That is me being 1,000% honest. Unless you play on a really shitty PC, then then yeah, you're gonna probably be at disadvantage. But
I'm with you.
again, that's my only thing. I think it's a good change. I think it allows people to actually play on really good hardware, way better than any kind of console. That's awesome. I think that's a great thing to have and to add out there. I think if you're gonna want to make the change to PC, that's gonna open up a lot of doors to other games. I mean, you never know. Again, this is all just speculation, but
Yeah.
as far as it goes, I think it's a good change. The pro point scene and the money match scene are interesting. That's the anti cheats, the interesting point of all that.
Thank you
That's
for the
my
bits,
biggest
Bronze.
question. Is where does that lie for me if I enter a 2K and there's a hacker on the other team? There is no anti cheat. That guy could just very quietly pop off in a 1v2. You'll never know.
And cut it
You
off.
know, you'll never know. That's the thing, and then that's my biggest fear, more or less, with the transition. Is it's people are really good at hiding hacks, like
Oh.
really good,
Yeah.
and with any kind of anti cheat, then yikes, man. That's kind of interest. It's gonna be interesting. it's gonna be interesting. That's my only question for sure. That I'm worried about. And on top of that, the competitive pool is gonna be insane next year. All these players
Oh,
that
yeah.
did not get a contract, you're gonna see them in challengers, and they're gonna want that
That's going to
contract.
be worth watching now. Real
Yeah.
quickly, Bronze, when you're talking about the difference between your console and PC, we're talking about the new pro scene now is you can play the pro scene for Call of Duty will be on PC, but you can play with a controller. You cannot use keyboard and mouse yet for money matches. So
No.
money matches, there's no keyboard and mouse. So I would agree with you. I imagine the skill level between the two. If you're not a good PC player and you get that aim assist controller, I imagine the aim assist is one that wins hands down. To factor on about the play pool, which factors on about pros, the COD scene going to PC. Let's talk about that little 12-year-old kid that's nasty on console right now, who does the game battles and matches, who is getting in with some of the challenger guys and playing with them in some of these practice matches. That's like you said, that's a lot of money you're gonna have to drop. I hope by this time we're not in the COVID bubble and we can be on. They'll have some LAN matches because I imagine everybody will have the same PC.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they will.
But if you factor in if we do not, and we have to play these matches at home, how is that going to be a factor? Because hey, you tell like me and you, if me and you are professionals, hey man, we're going to bump up these bad boys up here a little bit. Let's upgrade and have that advantage. That's a big one, buddy. And I imagine
That's huge.
I imagine the higher professionals, and again, you said that the pool is going to be different now because they've dropped it down. Pro scene is now going to be 4v4, not 5v5. That's a big change. Mm-hmm. But going back, you said some of these kids in the Challengers League now, maybe who don't have the greatest PC, but it's good enough for them for what they use it for, are now going to have to buy a PC that can hang with some of these guys who are going to outperform them spec-wise.
Oh, for sure. I think that's always been the argument for a lot of people on PC is the hardware you have. Unfortunately, right now where it stands, if you don't have good hardware, you're not going to compete. That's anything. If you have a regular controller versus someone with a SCUF, the SCUF has the advantage for a reason. It's better hardware, and that's just always been the argument for a lot of different things.
Bro, I don't know, man. I can scuff jet without paddles on mine. That's what I'm saying.
I'm definitely taking that away. I'm just saying some players have to need that,
Yes,
and that
I agree
makes
with
them
you.
what they are. To answer Mr. Fantastic's question, no, they're not going to add any teams this year. They've already announced they're not adding any more teams.
100 Thieves. All right. Ooh, man, we were going to talk about this last week. Oh,
right.
Man, we're already at almost 2 hours, so we won't talk about too much. So, 100 Thieves. What do you say again? Given that they're dropping down to 4v4, they're going to add any more COD teams. You say no. Who did 100 Thieves? That's Optic, correct?
So Hex purchased back Optic.
Okay.
And he now owns the Huntsman and Optic LA.
Okay.
CDL said they're not allowed to change the name at all.
Wow.
The Huntsman has to stay the Huntsman.
Okay.
So
where does the LA Optic go?
So what I've heard is Hex is selling Optic to Nade Shot, or the Optic spot to Nade Shot, and he's going to be 100. I think it's 100 Thieves LA. You cannot change your region, cannot change your city. You have to stay where you're going to be, and that's where his headquarters is in Los Angeles. So he's going to become 100 Thieves LA, because the Huntsmen have to stay in Chicago. They have to stay the Huntsmen. They cannot change. So unfortunately, that's the way it goes. And I knew that was going to happen. It's been talked about this entire year. Is when is Matt going to come into the Pro League? What's going to happen with 100 Thieves? And you know what? Hex just knew the Optic is worth more. And the big money move he made, he bought it back. That's huge. Him and NRG have the money to spend. And so for them, it just makes more money. But as far as expansion teams or academy teams, I have heard they're not adding anything this year.
Yeah. And that brings, I think it went a weird route for me because I honestly enjoyed seeing, we're not going to have any more of these other teams pop up. Mm-hmm. Like, do you remember during BF3 you get that, I'm going to use Lethal Game as an example. when Lethal Gaming got their pro team, you know, that's something like TGBG. Let's just say back in the day, if they could put a big enough team, like you send them to LAN. Remember that? Like that was a big thing. We don't have it anymore.
Yeah, that's one thing too that a lot of orgs talked about last year is it worth investing in the amateur Call of Duty scene? And for a lot of orgs, no, it's not worth it. You're not getting any limelight. There is no spotlight for you. You're just gonna be the grinder team to make money. Unfortunately, that's the thing. If you want to make money, you'll make money. If you're not
True.
into that and you want the fame and fortune, you're not getting it. It's not gonna happen.
I do feel like it's going to, you're not going to find that diamond in the rough like you used to.
No, not at all. I
Like,
remember when
dude,
Black Ops 2 came out.
Karma.
Dallas.
I feel like Karma was one of those.
Oh, not even Karma. So in MLG Dallas that year, a lot of orgs, Unite Gaming, VVV Gaming.
Oh man,
you name
Frico.
it. Yeah, Farico Gaming, definitely one of the Evolve. LG was another one. You name it, dude. There was so many. Soar, Thrust, so many teams were out there. Dare had a team back then. That I was
Oh
a part
yes,
of.
I remember Dare. Man, you're bringing back some memories.
So, unfortunately, there was a lot of. I think the talent pool was huge.
It was
Huge. And that was a cool thing about it. It was anyone can go pro. Now it's not like that. Not anyone can go pro. It's impossible. It's not. I say it's impossible because there is no like free agency. There is no fantasy draft. You're not gonna get picked up. You know, a lot of these pro players that won challenger events last year, aka like a Parasite,
didn't get picked up.
couldn't get picked up last year. It was not gonna happen.
He's a world champion too. That's what blows my mind.
Yeah, and so that's the crazy thing for me more or less is that it's harder to become pro, and a lot of orgs realize that a lot of their players are never gonna hit that fame and fortune. And that's where they're like, all right, we're out. You know, it's not worth it for us. We're not gonna get any kind of exposure. It's just not. It's not fair for us. The money's not gonna be made back. You know, so that's why big orgs like NRG and what was the other one that was the name? I can't remember the name. But there was so many other big orgs to purchase Call of Duty spots because they knew that's where the money was. There is no money in small teams. There's not. And so that's the hardest part about it. I think the only way they can continue to do really well is add academy teams.
True.
Academy teams have to be added.
I just feel like they're choking the COD scene a little bit, and I know. I mean, I enjoy because I remember watching some of them. I just had a brain fart. Some of the Call of Duty tournaments, it wasn't a big one, but they had that open bracket, and you see that team, Tony's team or something like that. They're coming, buddy. You see it. I mean, they're making a push, and they should know like they're in the top 8. Like I'm gonna miss that. I missed that.
Yeah.
I hopped in to watch the Challengers Cup sometimes, and I knew nobody playing except for some of the guys that never got picked up. Like Parasite was one of them. Didn't Parasite win how many of the Challengers? His team?
Three tournaments.
They won. I mean, was that the most? Was there a lot of Challengers Cups for them?
It wasn't Neslo. What was his name? Nagafin. Nagafin won
Oh.
most
Man, Nagafin was
tournaments.
so dirty in Black Ops 3.
But imagine he wasn't even on the pro league.
No.
He was in a challengers league,
Like,
which is crazy.
that's where I think the pro scene is going to hurt. Down the road, that's going to hurt. Eventually, your top guys are going to retire.
Yeah.
Who are you going to get?
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing is a lot of these players that are in challengers leagues don't sign contracts. So there is no rules yet. Once you get to the pro league, you're stuck on that team. There is no leaving. There is no trading unless they want to trade you. I mean, look at it. It happened the same way with Karma. Karma and Octane got stuck with a very unfit Seattle Surge team. And they couldn't do anything about it, so he retired. Like, that's kind of what we're going towards. If you don't like your teammates, good luck. Like, honestly, good luck, because there's nowhere else you're going besides the bench. I mean, a lot of my friends, Lacefield, Patrick, Aches, obviously, again, like Aqua, Yuli, like those guys. And if you look at Saints, so Lacefield, Saints, and Aches were all benched. You're telling me the guys that were top tier the year before that are on the bench? Like, that's beyond me. So again, I think the pro scene's gonna suffer because we're not going to see as many pros anymore. But the Challengers League is going to get a lot more interesting and a lot more harder. So I wonder what kids stick into that and stay there that were competing this year.
Man,
Who continues to play with each other? Now all these pros are up for grabs. Are we going to see Parasite playing with all these young AMs anymore? I don't think so. I think he's going to go and grab someone that he knows competes.
I would.
And
Been
you're
there,
adding
done
something
that.
to yourself.
Yeah. I mean, you brought up Saints. Man, I remember him and Ghost, man. He was an SMG buddy. I mean, strictly business. Remember them?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy how fast it happened too. It's crazy how fast it happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and now with if you look at the whole picture now with COVID, no lands, everything's online. I think it's just hindering it more on even finding some of these players. It's probably now as at back then I thought it was hard playing game battles. And again, I wasn't even a professional, but you played some of them in some of your matches. If they took your match or you're in a bracket, I thought it was hard then. I can't even imagine now. I don't even want to grasp my mind on that concept on just getting seen. Like, what are you going to have to do?
It's hard. I mean, if people that were winning challenger events didn't even get looked at by pro teams, it's a tough grind. I tell everyone all the time, me being ex-pro doesn't mean anything. I'm not a pro anymore.
Yeah.
Even the guys I know now, they're not gonna vouch for me. They're friends of mine and we're gonna stay friends, but they're not gonna be like, oh yeah, get him.
Yeah, pick this cat up right here. Oh yeah.
People want to keep their contracts. They don't want to bring more guys on. Everyone saw what happened this year with all those huge rosters and those giant bench players. Nope, all those guys are gone. So I think it's a fight now to stay top player. I think it's tough. I mean, we're looking at it transition fast, and a lot of players are like, "Oh shit, like we're not untouchable anymore. We got to grind again."
Yeah.
A lot of players are retiring. I mean, a lot of people are retiring, and that's the talk everyone's having. That's why Scum said, "Is it worth it? Is it worth it for him? He can make more money because he sees what Matt did. He sees what Big Timer did. It's easier to make money outside the competitive bubble." Because it doesn't take as much time, it doesn't take as much resource, it doesn't take as much money, and that's the thing is right now. Again, it all boils down to how serious do you want to take this game,
and that's where that's why I said I hope Activision and the Call of Duty scene doesn't see that as BR.
Yeah,
like that be your team.
Yeah,
like that's what I don't want to see happen. Because
honestly, what it falls down to is I need Activision. I need the CDL to bring back the joy of open bracket. Show that these players aren't untouchable. Prove to everyone again that you can get to this level of gaming. You can become pro. It's not impossible. I don't have to go through all these hoops. I can put together this God squad that no one's ever heard of and make it happen.
Oh yeah.
That's what brought me to watch competitive COD. Nowadays, you can't even do that anymore. It's gone.
Oh, dude,
you can't get to that level anymore. As I wouldn't say easy, but it's not as open and available as it was back then. Yeah, and that's what I need to see come back.
Yeah, God, I remember that you find the search and destroy gods. I mean, bro, dude, so I know I'm right there with you, man. I agree with you. Something I don't know how, what, when, or where, but I just. Not to say to make it easy, but at least have some options. There's some out there. I mean, it's entertaining. To me, I still enjoy watching it. I survived Infinite Warfare watching pro scenes. I enjoyed watching it. It was a little difficult, but I watched it. I enjoyed it. But then I also, in the sense, I enjoyed watching the lower guys who are fighting for that competitive thing you're talking about. You see it. You can see it. Regardless if Tony and Michael say in the chat, but even if you get just destroyed, where your level is. That competitiveness comes out.
Exactly, and that's why I think I don't want to shine away from Call of Duty, but that's why I'm making the transition to Apex so severely. Is these leagues are looking for the new pros. They're looking for the next kind of guys constantly. Same thing with Gears. Gears of War is doing the same thing. They're putting on these weekly tournaments. They're trying to get these guys involved. They're showing them limelight. Esports Arena did the same thing with Apex. there's a way to go pro now. There's a level you can hit. Call of Duty doesn't have that anymore. It's either you're pro
No.
or you're not. That's it. There is no in between. Either you have that status or you don't. And that's what's hurting a lot of people and hurting a lot of people is damn, I can't even be pro this year. Like no matter how good you may be, it'll never matter. Like that sucks, you know?
Yeah.
And
Hey.
that's what like I said, it's hitting. It's hitting hard.
Oh yeah. Hey, look how many people who have gone professional because look in the rank system, they
Mhm.
get so high they're playing against the pro players. The pro players see how they're playing. They would get
Mhm.
picked up. We don't have that
Exactly.
anymore. So then
Nope.
then that ranks back to the point: is it worth having a ranked playlist?
Yeah.
Maybe for a pub scene, like again, more stuff goes on and on.
Like I said, it's definitely a competitive drive and it's a money push. If you want to win money, you can win money. Money's there. The money is there for sure.
Yes,
I mean, they had $2 million in a challengers pool this year. $2 million for challengers, like to me, that's
that's a lot,
wow.
buddy. That's 2 million.
You know. And so I'm saying, I guess on that aspect, if you like making money, this is the business for you. If you want the fame to come with it, this is not the business for you. No one's gonna know who you are. I mean, look at guys like Fire 40, won 2 challenger events. Nobody really knows who he is outside of the COD community. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that's kind of sad. I mean, if
yeah.
he were to go play Warzone, no one would watch him play Warzone. You know what
No,
I'm saying? So again, it's just to fall on the fact of, do you want to hit that title? Do you want to actually have the road towards it? Um,
Bron said we should play Apex sometimes. Resistance, and I'm kind of a big deal.
oh, Bronze, easy, easy, yes. You let me know whenever. I'm on season 7 tonight, all night.
Oh
So
yeah, he
I'm
said
here.
that too. He said we got a couple hours and a half ready to rock and
Oh, yeah.
roll.
8 o'clock. I have my timer on my phone set. I'm gonna be the next big legend. Trust
That
me.
man's
Trust me.
on it.
But again, like I said, Call of Duty has always been it's gonna be my home. I love the game to death. I want to compete this year. I want to at least give it a shot. You know,
Yeah,
again, the CDL thing is interesting. I think there's a lot of stuff that we don't know, and a lot of pro players don't even know what's happening. They're kind of just here for the ride, and the guys that got dropped, well, they got dropped. Um, I think the Challengers League is going to be the most intense ever. It's going to be Black Ops 2 Challengers again. I think easily. There's so many pros in that pool. It's
it's
4v4. I think the streaming platform is going to blow up for sure now that these guys are not on dedicated teams anymore.
they can stream it.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, and I think now that they can play with whoever the hell they want, that's huge. Um, like I said, it's all personally gonna have to go and boil down to what changes they make towards open bracket in the amateur scene. That's where all the money lies, is amateur players. I'm sorry, that's where that main demographic is amateur players.
Oh,
Pro
I
players,
100% with you on
I
that
could
one.
I could care less about the pro players. I want to see the kids that no one knows show up and say
Pop
this.
it,
I can do this. That's
popping
what draws
off.
me.
Yes, me
I love
too.
that. That's awesome. I mean, that's kind of why I play so many different things. I mean, I played college baseball my life, and let me tell you, there's so many kids you will never expect to be good that just come up and do the damn thing, and you're like, okay, like damn, I didn't realize that I'm not this good. Like, you know what I mean? It just shows you that there's a grind to be had still. COD doesn't have that. It doesn't show you the grind to make it there. You see just the same kids over and over again, and they're like, well, I think Kenny is kind of whack. I don't know how he's pro. Instead of, damn, the guy that just shit on Kenny. I want to play
I'm
against that dude.
you
You know what I
said
mean?
Kenny,
Like,
bless his soul.
but again, that's just the way I look at it. I remember growing up and being young and playing against the biggest names possible, and just having the right to say I played against them meant something. That meant the world to me. When I told you I went to a local LAN, my first round was against Parasite, Stainville, Accuracy, and Attach.
Good luck.
And this is right after champs.
Good.
So I was just so happy to play against the man. I didn't even care that he, was I played Anchor back then. So imagine my fights, right? I had to play against the dude, the man. Back then that was the man. Unfortunately, that is no longer there anymore. You're never gonna play these people. You're gonna just kind of play against the same kids you've been playing against in GBs, and that's where it gets dry. That's where it falls apart.
Yep.
I want them to integrate a system like Overwatch did, where they have a leaderboard system, and you can see who's top name in certain cities and states, and get them on board and get them contracted. Build academy teams. Like, there's so much things COD's not doing right, and a lot of players are noticing it. I mean, you're seeing a lot of people transition over to different games. You're seeing guys come over from different games. You're seeing a whole bunch of spew stuff to go down, and unfortunately, there is no grind system anymore. There is no reason to get better. I think from a player standpoint that wants to go pro.
True.
Um, so it kind of sucks. Again, I'm excited for the PC switch. I'm hoping. This is my hope, is Xbox get added to the conversation. I think there's a lot of good people on Xbox. I think there's a lot of people that could grind it out on Xbox and be just as good. Because I play a lot against them in GBs, and let me tell you, they can hang.
Oh yeah, I don't think console's got anything to do with it. I think that you did knowledge
It's
the
just
game.
the boundaries.
Yeah,
It's the boundaries for sure, and
That's
that's
it.
where everyone's scared. A lot of pro players are like, oh shit, like we're not untouchable. I want that. I want that again. I don't want people to be solidified. I want it to be a literally a fight to get to pro, like how it was.
It makes you better. You become a
does.
better player in general.
It does.
100%.
Exactly. That's why I'm not really mad at skill-based matchmaking, because that's what it does. It builds you up. That's what it's doing. It keeps building you up, building you up, building you up, and that should feel good. A lot of people hate it. They're like, I don't want to play against my skill level. That should motivate you. Again, this is just for the guys that are up there.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have different stories with. I agree with you though.
That's the way I look at it, and it feels good when I can go into my skill-based matchmaking and do my job. But there is times where I'm like, I'm over
Not
it.
every day. Not every day.
I'm over it. Like, I'm tired of this. I don't want to keep playing against a kid that slide cancels 30 times in a row. Like, let me snipe. Like there is a giant difference. But I want to find a good league play again. I want to find that grind. I want to build myself up. I want to have that skill-based matchmaking matter where it needs to matter. And not in a casual kill confirm match. That's just my point of view with that situation. But my whole point, competitive standpoint, is if you want to go be pro, if you want to get to a certain level, if you want to achieve to be, that kind of player, it has to be something that you think about day in, day out. I mean,
100% with you.
That's just it. No matter if you're on keyboard, mouse, PC, PS4, Xbox, fucking Wii, doesn't matter. I think if you're gonna get there, you gotta grind. There's no easiness to this, and that's what people don't really understand is Warzone is easy. Anyone could do it. Competitive COD, no, not everybody can do it.
Yeah.
And that's where the beauty of the interest lies, right? And so that's my thing is you have to. I think Call of Duty needs to really step down and look at that aspect again of Call of Duty. That's why people like to stay in the same lobbies. They want that competitiveness. They want to beat the guys they maybe just lost to.
Don't you back out, punk! Stay in here.
Like I missed the drive of that. I missed the randomness of that. I think when you find someone that's good enough as you are in a random game, dude, that feels great. You're like, all right, me and you, we're duking it out.
Yeah, yep. I'm with you on that one.
There's just so many different things that led to COD being so amazing, and we're losing touch of that faster and faster due to the pure fact that money's involved. A lot of money's involved, and
that pushes it
everyone's realizing the esports can make so many millions of dollars that they have to invest in those guys that can do it for them. Again, it's all going to stem down to how serious you take the game, how much you want to reach that level, how can you find 3 other guys to get you there. That's the randomness of Call of Duty sometimes. And like I said, to be pro in this next generation of COD, it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot. And, that's the beauty of the gaming aspect of anything. I mean, I look at a lot of games the same way. I look at guys that play Fortnite for a living still, and it's like, damn, dude, like, they grind hard,
Yeah.
It's at the end of the day, if you're looking for fame and fortune, Call of Duty may not be here for you. If you're looking for the money aspect of it, Call of Duty's here.
Yep.
And
you know what I want
that's
back?
just the way I see.
I want GameStop tournaments to come back.
Oh my God, we were actually talking about that yesterday,
bro.
Me and my roommate.
Okay, I got top 3 out of 24 player. Let's go. That's my only LAN experience. I talked so much shit at that GameStop. It ain't even funny. I was the oldest motherfucker there.
Honestly, I remember when I first won my first GameStop tournament for BlackOps 2. I got a free copy of the game, and let me tell you, walking around with that free copy of the game felt like I was a millionaire.
Yeah, you were like, "What's up, Paul? You got this for free?" I don't think so.
I got it 1 hour before the game was actually even out, so everyone was trying to buy it off me for extra money. I will never forget those nights. And I feel bad that this new generation will never understand what it's like waiting in a line at almost 1 in the morning for midnight releases. Like I
did it a couple times too, man. It was fun. Well, I think tonight's podcast was very interesting. I think it went well.
Agreed.
Resistance, I appreciate you. We're gonna call that a night. If you could just stay in Discord for a little bit, we're gonna chit chat after.
Okay.
Thank you for everybody that came by. Congratulations, Tony, for the giveaway win. Tony's playing Smash Bros. Tournaments. Hey, man, I'm telling you, GameStop had some stuff going on back in the day. I'm not even going to lie. But thank you for dude, low-key, man. Sorry for them kids. I know they're not in here, but, you know, I'm not your dad, okay? That's all I got to say. You know, back in the day, I did your mom jokes for Call of Duty. Oh, man, this is some weird stuff back in the day. God. But thank you for everybody for coming by the podcast for our second episode of TGBG On Comms. If you haven't checked it out yet, the first episode is on the TGBG YouTube channel. You can go back and check it out. Make sure you leave a like on it. Leave a comment if you have any things you want to talk about. Because, again, next week we may bring it back up. Not sure. But stay tuned. Follow us, TGBG, on Twitter to find out when the next podcast is going to be. And we look forward to seeing you maybe next week or the week after. Not quite sure, but pay attention to Twitter. And we are out.